General is wrong, and the situation is even more wrong. You have a very hard time with this whole million business. Huh?
She isn't. Try to tell me. Good morning, everyone. You're now up to Perek Yud, Mishna Ches. We've been learning how Shemitah cancels debts. And now we read the following. Hamachzer choy b'shvius. Someone wants to pay a debt during Shemitah. Really what it means is, it means after Shemitah. It's the end of the Shemitah year that cancels all debts. Now, after that period of time has passed, the borrower wants to still pay. And so he approaches the lender and he wants to give him back the money. Yoimar loy, the lender has to say to him, Mishamitani, I relinquish it, I let it go, which is really what he has to do. Omar loy afal pikein. If the lender responds, nonetheless, yikabim menu, you may accept it from him. Shenemar, as it states, v'zeh devar hashmita. Literally translated, these words mean this, and this is the matter of Shemitah, which is how the Torah introduces the law of Shemitah canceling debts. The fact that he uses the word v'zeh devar hashmita, the word devar means the word, and this therefore can be translated as this is the word of Shemitah, which means to say that you can fulfill your obligation when someone wants to, after Shemitah, pay you, and you're not allowed to collect it as a debt because that was canceled. All you have to do is have a devar Shemitah. All you have to do is have a word of Shemitah, meaning all you have to say is, I relinquish it. If after that he still wants to pay you, you can take it. Nonetheless, the halacha is the Gemara adds that a person cannot go ahead and say, I'm giving you the money for my debt. Rather, he should say, the money is mine, but I give it to you as a gift. That's what's supposed to happen. It cannot be considered a payment of a debt because the debt's gone. The point is that if he basically wants to give you a gift, as long as you first tell him, basically say, I realized that you first tell him, I relinquished, meaning the debt's gone, and I don't care. I don't have any debts anymore on you. As long as you say that to him, and now he wants to give you a gift, the halacha is that you can take the gift. Now, if the debtor does not say so, he doesn't say, I'm giving it to you as a gift, the creditor may engage him in conversation until he says it. Keep talking to him until he says it. Shulchan Aruch adds that if he did not get him to say so, the creditor may not accept the money. The person has to say, it has to be clear, it has to be that he states that this is not a payment for the debt. It's not allowed to be a payment for the debt. Which is why at first the lender has to say, Meshaberani, I relinquish it. Only then when he clarifies and he says, I'm with you as a gift, that's where we're allowed to accept it. Okay, so that's the first part of the Mishnah. Halacha that says that a person who wants to still give you back money for the debt that was canceled, as long as you first say, I relinquish it, which is what you have to do because the Torah obligates that. If the person says, I know the debt is gone, but I want to give it to you as a gift, then you are allowed to accept it. Now, Kayetzebai, a similar thing, I mean, totally unrelated law, but a similar law about just having to basically respond in a certain way, and then afterwards you've done your obligation. A murderer that went into exile to a city of refuge. The Torah says that under certain circumstances of a person unintentionally killing another person, that person must leave where he lives and go live in a city of refuge, special cities that were meant to be refuge for such people. If he doesn't go to the city of refuge, then any relative of the person that was unintentionally killed, but basically is very upset and would want to take revenge from him, would not be considered a murderer for doing so. So he has to run. He has to basically, it's called going into exile. It's an obligation to do this. And by going to the city of refuge, he's protected. Now, so we have a situation here where this person who unintentionally killed someone was a very prestigious person worthy of honor. A person who typically would have come to a city, they'd come out and greet him because he's such an honorable person. But now he's coming to the city because he unintentionally killed someone and he has to go into exile to a city of refuge. So you have this murderer, again, he's unintentional, but he's called a murderer, who is exiled to a city of refuge. And the people living in that city want to honor him. It's not like this. The city of refuge is a regular city. As a matter of fact, to the cities of every city that was meant for Levites to live in, acted as a city of refuge. So then, the residents of that city want to come out, want to give him honor when he comes. He says to them, I'm a murderer. They say to him, nonetheless, he could accept it. As it says, again, a very similar wording, exact same wording rather. This is the translation. Base translation is this is the matter of the murderer. And again, because it says the word devar, this is the word of the murderer, that comes to teach us that all the murderer has to do is say. All he has to do is say, I don't deserve the honor. It's not like he's not allowed to accept the honor. All he has to do is say, I'm a murderer. He has to say that he doesn't deserve the honor. If they still say they still want to go ahead and honor him, then he's allowed to accept it. Based on this Mishnah, the Talmud Yerushalmi, the Jerusalem Talmud comments, very interesting halacha. This teaches us, meaning the fact that there's an obligation in a situation where you're not deserving of honor, that you have to let them know that you're not deserving of it, because as a Ritzayach, who has to go, as a murderer has to go into exile, he's really not worthy of any this kind of honor. And so he's not worthy of honor, and he has to let people know that, meaning could very well be that these people are honoring him because they think, hey, look, he's just coming to visit, and he deserves the honor. He's got to go ahead and say, I don't deserve the honor. And once we see from there that he has to say he doesn't deserve the honor, this teaches us that if someone knows one tractate of the Talmud, he's being honored for knowing two, he should make the true extent of his knowledge known. If somebody wants to honor you for knowing two tractates, you only know one. At the end of the day, you got to let him know. You see from here that if somebody wants to bestow honor on you that you're not deserving, you should be letting them know that. If they still want to honor you, you can accept it. But you need to let them know that. Okay. Now, Sefer HaMitzvot. So we have two mitzvahs here that are, again, very similar to the two mitzvahs mentioned before. They're exactly the same, but they are repeated in a specific context. Before we talked about prohibition against cheating someone monetarily, overcharging, underpaying, and a prohibition not to hurt someone with words. Now, mitzvah mem tesanun 49 and 50 of the Chavetz Chaim's book of mitzvahs is mitzvahs lo yisasi shelohines geret tzedek b'dvarim, not to cause anguish to a convert with words. Shenemar v'ger lo yisaina, as the pasuk says, you shall not oppress the convert. To say painful words to a convert is not only the prohibition against saying painful words to a Jew, but it's a specific prohibition against doing that to a convert. And then the next mitzvah, positive commandment not to cheat a convert monetarily. As the pasuk says, one word says sona, then it says lo yisel chatzenu. One means not to paint him in words and not to oppress him by cheating him out of money. These two prohibitions are in addition to the prohibitions that we said before regarding not causing anguish or cheating someone monetarily to any Jew. Meaning, if you do it to a convert, you have transgressed two prohibitions. To a Jew who's not a convert, it would be one. It applies in all places at all times, both by men and by women. Let's do one more mitzvah. Prohibition against causing suffering to a widow or an orphan. As it says, you shall not afflict someone who is a widow or an orphan. Prohibition not to afflict them, not to cause them pain. Even if they're very rich people. Even the widow of a king and his orphans, powerful people, well taken care of people. You still have to act honorably with them. You cannot cause them suffering. You should not cause them distress or pain or heartache by saying harsh words. And you should protect their money when you protect your own. One who angers them or causes them pain. And all the more so if one strikes them or curses them. A person has transgressed his prohibition. And the Torah explicitly states the punishment for doing so. And that is, I shall become angry and kill you by sword. And your wives shall now, then your wives will become widows and your children orphans. Now, whether one has lost either parent, a mother or a father, they fall under the category of orphan regarding this prohibition. Until they grow up, the yasa called sarche ba'atzmai kashar gedolim. They can take care of themselves like any other adult. Once they reach the age where they can take care of themselves like they become an adult, and they can take care of their own, and they attend to all their own needs by themselves, then like other adults, then they're not a yasim anymore. Yasim means the person who has no father and mother, and who basically does not take care of themselves. And once they grow up, they come to the point that they do attend to their own needs like other adults, then once that happens, they're not considered an orphan anymore. If needed, to chasten them, meaning to punish them, to cause them some kind of, you're trying to guide them on the right path, whether it be in teaching Torah, whether it mean in learning a craft, to put them on a decent path. In order to do so, you need to be somewhat harsh with them. That's not this prohibition. If you're doing it, if it's necessary to do it for the purpose, for their benefit, whether it be so that to study Torah or to learn a craft, to make sure they're on the right path, that does not fall under this category. Nonetheless, one should be very careful to raise them patiently, with kindness and with mercy. Even if you have to, a person is somehow or another in a situation of guiding an orphan, and we say that one can be harsh on them, and it's not this prohibition, one is supposed to be very careful to make sure that they're doing what's necessary to do. And in general, they have to make sure that they are doing things, they have to have mercy on them and patience with them in whatever you're doing to raise them and put them on the proper path. This applies in all places at all times, both by men and by women. Have a wonderful day.